Welcome back to Magic the Gathering Online Legacy Rock versus Dredge in the two-mans. This is round 3, game 2, and this is the 4th time I've done this. If you're wondering what happened before, first off, I forgot to turn on the microphone recording, and then I kept forgetting to unpause it. So I talked for a bunch and realized that I didn't do anything. So yeah, we're doing it again. We're keeping this hand because of the Scavenging Ooze, the fact that we have a Zenith, so we can Zenith for the Arbor on turn 1, play the Ooze and have it up active on turn 2, or keep the Wasteland up. I'm going to go ahead and skip forward because there really isn't much else to this hand outside of that Ooze. That is the highlight of this point, and I mean it is the best card that we have against them in our hand. So we're going to keep going. Here we are back at about the 2-minute 35-second mark. I'm going to go ahead and put it forward. Now, we're playing the Ooze, and that's entirely right. Yeah, this is only our turn too. But the problem that we have is our opponent has multiple bridges in the yard, and an Ichorid and Narcomoeba is still in the deck. So we should have left up the Wasteland. What that would have done, even though we would have set ourselves back to having just the Ichorids or just the Wasteland to take out the bridges, it means that if our opponent did go for the Flamekin Zealot, he'd have whatever tokens he didn't sacrifice, as well as the Zealot swinging. We can live with that. We'd have 2 forests on our turn, be able to negate one of them, kill something. We gain 2 life out of it. We can keep that up. Like, we can actually do that. It is not an impossible strategy to just do that. On top of that, he'd only have 1 bridge left in the deck. That means that the only thing that he really has that we're worried about is Narcomoebas. And him having played the Tireless Tribe, we basically created a situation where we would have been better off. It would have been pretty much close to impossible for us to lose. But I mean, it wouldn't have been great. He'd have still had 2 tokens, and the thing like that would have been great. But the chances that he flipped a Narcomoeba, that would have been a lot worse. We would have taken 6, then we would have taken, wow, I cannot do the math right now. So we would have taken 12 damage before we had it under control, but we're at 18. I mean, guaranteed we would have been fine. I'm going to skip ahead a little bit. Here we are at the 5-minute 55-second mark. I have 3 forests here, and it's going to our opponent's turn shortly. What we have to decide here is what we're going to do. One, I didn't need to decide right now. I mean, I could have waited until the Ichorid triggers went on the stack. The second thing, our opponent still only has 3 bridges, but we need the life. I didn't think very well on this. Having the dredgers and everything else, our opponent still has a dread return, but they're not going to get anything of value. Like, we've already eaten the Zealot. There's no point in having to worry about that. What we should have done, and simply what we should have done, was just eaten all 3 Ichorids or gone straight for the Stoneforge plan. Doing that, and we could have eaten the other 2 Ichorids as well. Like, doing that puts the Batterskull in play, which the next turn would negate 3 of the attackers. We'd still have the 2 life to negate 1 of the attackers. The Ichorid couldn't swing because it would be blocked, so we would take 8 this turn, or we would take 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14 this turn, and would have been able to eat 2 more cards, so from 22, 24, and yeah, we would have survived. Like, we have enough mana that if we draw 1 land, we would have been able to hook up the Batterskull to the Scavenging Ooze. 1 more land. But because we opted to go like this hybrid randomized route and worrying about different things, like we put ourselves in a position that we couldn't. If we did go get it, our opponent would have gone for the therapy, which we could have even eaten the therapy and been fine. Yes, our opponent would have had a ton more of those things, which would have offset the plan, but I mean, any plan would have been better than that, than what we actually did. We either eat all of the bridges or we eat all of the other things. So yeah, that was the misplay. So we would have taken 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14 this turn, still been up to 20. We would have killed one. The next turn, we would have taken 10. If we draw a land, then we take a little bit less than that. We didn't draw land, so yeah, we would have lost. But it was still there. The possibilities were still there to do things. And that's why that was a misplay.